Well, so good afternoon, Nigel, and could you please tell us why you're here today with us in Paris?
Well, it's the big DLR launch. Dupont asked me would I come along and support the opening of your national campaign. I was delighted to do so because I view your party and your values and what you stand for as being part of a bigger Eurosceptic family. And I'm hoping that over the course of the next 5.5 weeks, your campaign starts to reach the French people and they realise that there is a moderate, sensible, Eurosceptic political party that doesn't hate anybody,
Yes.
but actually wants France to be self-governing, have its own currency, do business with other countries in Europe, but not be run by Mr. Van Rompuy and that ghastly gang in Brussels.
And how did the event in itself go? So
Remarkable.
remarkable.
And I have to say, the level of enthusiasm that is in the room is incredible. And I met some really good people. I've met people who've been fighter pilots and airline pilots and school teachers, but a wonderful cross-section of people. Also quite noticeable with this party, quite a lot of youth enthusiasm as well, which is, I would think, a very good sign for the future.
Yes, enthusiasm for you and for Nicolas Dupont-Aignan.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, it is good. And actually, I think because we've lived over the last few years so much in a world dominated by the soundbite, dominated really by the national media, that a lot of political parties have forgotten that the grassroots side of things is absolutely vital. The campaigning on the ground, the going into markets, the meeting people in the streets, all of that is vital. And I think, looking at your party, given where you are for your stage of development, your membership is over 13,000 people now, I believe.
Yes, it is.
It's growing quickly, and I think you're heading in the right direction.
What can you tell us more about the Champagne region and the Strasbourg region that you know very well?
Well, I know Strasbourg very well because for
Yes.
15 years, once a month, I've been going there as a member of the European Parliament. And it is a remarkable place. It's a really buzzy, thriving place. And it's full of private enterprise. It's full of people, taking risks, setting up shops, restaurants, jewellery stores, whatever it may be. So it is somewhere in France where private enterprise is doing incredibly well. And so I'm very struck that if you're actually in private business in France, not only does the European Union make most of the laws that affect your business, but actually, down at the Assemblée Nationale and at the Élysée, there have been a succession of people who don't get private business. They don't understand actually what it is that makes France profitable. If you don't have people making money and paying taxes, you can't have schools, you can't have hospitals. And I really think that for your party, and certainly your candidate in the East, she's been in business before being in politics. I think it's very important for your party to connect with those small businessmen, traders, shopkeepers, plumbers, carpenters, people who work very, very hard, take risk and provide wealth for the economy. And there is a massive gap in French politics because at the moment those people have really got no one to vote for.
And what about the kind of policy this region needs? Does it need the current policies that are decided in Brussels and the current European Union institutions?
Well, it's a really funny thing because politicians all around Europe will tell you that without the European Union we couldn't do business with each other. Well, my country buys 20 million bottles of champagne every year. We glug champagne in Britain, every wedding, every christening, whatever it is. We're a massive client of the Champagne region. Do you know something? We're going to go on buying champagne regardless whether we're members of the European Union or not. Business is something that is done because consumers make choices. And I spent 20 years in the private sector before being involved in politics. And when I was in business, the saying in my company was, the customer is king. I think is absolutely necessary, and we need to have some politicians, a mixture of politicians, but some politicians who've actually lived and worked and breathed in the real world, because French politics has just as big a disconnect as British politics.
And could you have some kind of word of advice to all the French voters, not only of the Eastern region, but also of the whole country, to tell them why they should vote for the list of Nicolas Dupont-Aignan with Debout la République?
I did a debate with Nick Clegg the other week. The Deputy Prime Minister challenged me, and I finished up by saying, it's time Britain got off her knees and stood up. How about that?
Yes.
So, debout la France. That's got to be the message. No, but I mean, this is, to be patriotic and to believe in your country doesn't mean you're extremist, Doesn't mean you hate people. It just means that you want to live within your own nation state, to have your own democracy, to have your own pride and self-respect. And it's up to parties like yours and mine to make that a respectable mainstream debate in both of our countries. And I tell you what, it's happening in my country, and there's absolutely no reason why it can't happen here too.
Well, we hope so too.
All right.
Thank you very much, Nigel.
Thank you.